Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Rohit and this is the day 3 sessions of the integrations series. So in this series we are going to talk about that all about the integration of service integration, and in these sessions today we'll talk about that table API inbound integration. In this table API we already talked about that get method in the last video. Using the get method, how you can retrieve the data from ServiceNow for any of this table like incident, problem, change. Now today in this session we'll talk about that apart from this get method, what other method we have, like the post method, the put method, delete method. Using the post method, how we can create a record into the ServiceNow table, any of this particular table, or how we can put, using the put method, how we can update any of this record to this existing record to the ServiceNow, or maybe how we can delete a record for in the ServiceNow which is exist into the ServiceNow. In past video you already created the user account, service account. Using that service account will do all this operation, and we will cover all these stuffs today one by one. Like we talk about the get method, we'll talk about post, put, delete, patch method, and gradually we'll discuss further in coding part. We'll move that. So without wasting time, let's get started. Let's say I want to, that your customer want ask you to create a incident. Okay, so they want to create a incident, or they want to create a record on a specific table. Okay, so let's say they want to create a record in incident table. Okay, what API you will give them? Because everything that I'm talking, it's already there. You just need to build the endpoint, or you just need to build a endpoint and give them, right? To create a record, what endpoint you can see. So this is the endpoint for creating a creating a record. Remember that method is a post. Previous method retrieve a records, or the retrieve a record, these all are get method. That's the reason we selected the get. Now we have to change this get method to the post method. Post method basically used to create a record. Post means you are posting something, so you are creating something. In that case you need to use the post method. If you want to get some data, you use the get method. So for creating, I can use this endpoint, and here I need to put my instance name. So let's go back here. What is my instance name? I'll copy this instance name and paste here. So this is my instance name, and in this way we can create an incident. But definitely creating the incident, I need to pass some information. So whenever you are creating an incident, let's say I'm going to create an incident. In the incident, you need to pass this some of this information, right? So caller, category, short description, this information you need to pass. How can you pass that? You need to pass in a JSON format. What you can do, we'll go back here, and then in this body you can use this raw. In this raw you have a options called JSON, and inside the JSON you can use the JSON, and then using the JSON we can create the incident. Let's say I'm going to create an incident called short description is this is my short description field, short underscore description, and short description I'll put that test. Okay, so I'll create an incident. That incident will have a short description called test. Okay, so for that what I'll do, I have to define a JSON. In this JSON I have to put that field name called short description, and in these fields what I have to use, that I have to put the value, whatever value I am expecting. So in my case the value is that test incident, so this is the value. And let's say I want to put other fields value, let's say caller. So in this case I need to pass the backend value. Let's say backend value is that what, caller underscore ID, and in this caller I want to set that, let's say integration admin I want to set, this value I want to set. So I will put that value equal to integration admin. So now once we put that this information and click send, it will be create a incident. So you can see it's create a incident, and then this is my response. So request is nothing but when whatever data you are passing, or whatever somebody is passing, that is the request, and once they pass these informations, they will receive a response. Based on their request, they will receive a response. That is the response. Here, if I search the incident, this is the incident that is created. Let's search the incident here. If we search that and see that incident is properly created or not, you can see this incident is getting created right now, and then this short description is a test incident, and then caller is the integration admin. Okay, so this way even you can give them access to create a incident or create any record to in your ServiceNow instance. You can give them access to them to create that to create incident, create problem, create change request to in your instance. Okay, now here is the thing. As I mentioned, the table API does not validate that that restriction or that the validation we have. So let's say in our case, whenever we are going to create an incident, and if we click create new, caller and short description both are mandatory, and so this caller and incident are mandatory, right? But if we are trying to create from our table API, it does not actually validate, or it does not actually check that whatever validation in place in our system is working or not. So I will remove this caller field and try to create that test incident 2 and see the incident getting created or not. So once we click the send, so this request we are passing, and this is the response we get as incident 1006 is getting created. If I search this incident, you can see this incident getting created, but caller is still mandatory, but it did not fill. So basically, if you give them the table API access or table level access, they might miss some of the fields to create that. For that, we need to do other for overcoming that, we have other method, but you have to keep in mind that if they are responsible for all this case handling, then they should go for the table level API. Otherwise, you should not give them access to the table level API. So in this case, we talk about that how to create the incident or how to create a record to our incident. Okay. So now, as I mentioned in our previous sessions, if you remember that, you can give them a C URL, and using the C URL, they know all this information. They will have all this information. So let's say you think about that this is the information you want to pass to your client, and how do you pass this information? Do you manually put all this information one by one and pass them? You don't need to do that. You simply, in the Postman, you have an option called code. You click that. Once you click the code, you can see here you have a different language. So what type of language they are using? So let's say they are using the JavaScript. So you can simply change that to jQuery. If you think about that, they are using the Node.js, you can select the Node.js, and it will give you all these details. Okay, let's say no, they are not using the Node.js, they are using the PHP, so you can pass them. Okay, but the standard one is the C URL. You can give them in a C URL format. So this is the format. You just click that here. It will be copy in your snippet, and then this information you can simply just pass to them. Say, let's say that using these are the method, you can access our endpoint, and you can create a record to our instance. Okay. Remember one thing, whenever you are passing this information, you should remove these cookies here, and this way you can avoid your data leakage. So you just simply copy that, and then here we'll say that create a incident. So this is my question, and for that, what they can do, they can actually this endpoint they can hit, but in this case I'll just remove this header part. So I don't want to give them this header. Okay, so that's it. This way you can basically pass them to how to create the incident. Okay, now next we'll talk about that. Let's see, we'll talk about that how we can modify a record. Okay, So let's say how we can update a record. That thing we'll discuss. So in this, if you see here in this case body, we just put that short description, and if I search with this incident actually doesn't have any color. Let's say after creating the incident we realize that we need to be update the color. Okay, in this case how we can do or how we can update the color. For that what we have to do, update incident. I'll put. So this is the update incident. In this update incident, how they can update their incident. For that, what you have to do, you have to come here. This is the for the updating. This URL will be remain same as it is. The URL will be remain same. But if you see, only you need to pass the incident number this type. Similarly, to retrieve a incident, you need to be pass that. I'll create here one more time, and here I will pass this incident number here. And here I need to pass this CSID, incident CSID. How can I get that? So this incident CSID will be here. So this is the incident CSID. During the creation I received that, so I'll pass this incident CSID. Now here I'll select that basic. Now what we'll do, I'll go to this body, and in this body I'll select raw. I'll select that JSON, and here I will say that caller underscore ID will be the caller ID name. So what will be the caller? Let's say I will put that this user integration admin probably. So I'll just refresh that one more time before I hit to that API. Right now you can see the caller is blank. Now I'll go to this API and say that caller equal to integration admin. And in this case, if you see the documentation, what it is saying that modify a record in bracket put. Put means that you are updating some record. So basically, if you see here, we have few methods. First is the get method. Second is the post method. Get method is used to get the data. Post method is used to creating a record, and then put method is used to update the record. So I will change this method to put, and then here I'll set the put, and once I will hit the once I will hit that send button, it should update that incident. So let's go back to that incident, and if I see this incident is right now updated, and this is modified by integration admin because we are using the service account. All this incident created, updated, or all these tasks which is going to create, update, everything will be given by this user that I am using right now. Okay, using by that name. Now, if you want to pass this information, you just go and pass this information by this one. We discuss about that updation method. Let's talk about the deletion method. How we can delete a record. In this case, for deletion record and updation record, only changes will be happen. The method will be changed to the delete, and then rest the URL will be remain same. For deletion method, so let's copy this one. So this is the method will be put, and I will update here. For updation, the update that I will put the code. So I'll go here and then see URL. I'll copy this complete code and paste here. And here I will remove my cookies details. And let's say, so this is the method we are going to use. Okay. Now next thing we will talk about that how we can delete the record. So delete a record. For delete the record, what will be happen? The method or this put method, everything will be, this endpoint will be remain same. Only change will be happen. This method will be changed to the delete method, and once you change the delete method and then hit enter, So in this delete method, once I click the send, it's try to delete, but as you see, it is saying that ACL operation delete failed due to security concern. So this ITIL user or this user doesn't have access to delete that incident record. That's the reason it is not giving, not allowing them to delete that. So whenever you do something, make sure that you have a proper access. So the user should have proper access. Okay. Normally, even I don't think that deletion is a right method. You should not delete anything from this ServiceNow instance. So you can just leave it is as it is. But if you want, you can delete that record. The point is that if you want, you can delete that record. For deletion method, this is the CA URL. If you want, you can use that. Okay. So I'll just remove. I mean, we don't need data, and even we don't need the header. This cookies header. If you pass that, it will delete that. So this all about the table API. Even we do have one more API called, that patch. So basically patch also used to help you to update that. Patch is something that updates the record, and put is something called modify record. Both are the similar. There is nothing much difference. Basically, if I go back to the postman have lot of methods. So these are the method they have, but we don't use that. ServiceNow don't use those all these method. They use the get method to get the data, post method to create the data, put and patch method to updating the data, delete method to delete the data. And we also have a one more method that is called header method. So head method, if we change to head, this body will not come to as a body. It will come all this information as a head. So if I hit that, it will all this information will become in a header. So these are the method we use. Now coming to that one tricky part or one trick. So you don't need to remember all this code, or you don't need to visit my website each and every time to giving this URL to customer. ServiceNow inbuilt have a capability to resolve this issue. You can go to this REST API Explorer. This REST API Explorer is ServiceNow inbuilt application that help you to build your basically help you to build your all these issues. Here, if you see here, we have a options called namespace. You have to select the namespace equal to now, API name equal to table API, and then API version is the latest. These three things you have to select. Namespace equal to now, API name is equal to table API, and then API version is the latest. Once you select that, the the options or the method I have told you, all these methods are available here. You just need to be put required information. Let's say here it is asking that table name, so I will say I want to get records from table. Okay, so I can receive multiple records. Okay, so I'll select that table equal to incident here, and then here in this is param query, I'll say that active equal to true, and then once I click send, it will generate a a endpoint for me, method for me, and then you can see that I will get all this response in the below section. So this is the response I am getting. So in this way, you don't need to, even if you don't want to use the Postman, you can use the REST API Explorer to generate this endpoint. Now coming back to that, if you click the C URL, it will generate this code for you. You just click the snippet, you copy the code, and then you can paste in your respective area. Now it's also easy for you to create a record. So let's say I want to create a record, so I'll just simply select the create a record. Once I click the create a record, I need to select the table name. So in my case, let's say I want to create a record in change request, and I will select the change request here. And now once you click the change request, here in this body, instead of putting manually the JSON here, you can click the builder and click add fields, and you can keep that you can put this all these fields name, call the test 123, and then let's say caller or requested for, requested by. I'll put that my this integration hub name, so whatever was there, integration admin, I'll put that. And in this case, you can see it's automatically generating the JSON. You don't need to manually put or get all this field name. And once I click send, it will, create a change request, and it's give me this change request number. So this is the change request which is getting created during this process. I can search and get this change request. So I will search here, and you can see this change request test 123 which is getting created, requested by is the integration admin. This way also you can generate endpoint for your customer, you can provide them and they can work on that. So that's it all about today's class. In our next sessions we'll definitely talk about few more, let's say we'll talk about the import set API, and gradually we will discuss about the coding, or we'll discuss more complex scenario. That's it for today. Thank you very much. Have a great day.